Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Episode 2 of the Unidentified Flying Podcast. How's everyone doing this wonderful Saturday night? You loved the music? Yeah, I found the music today and I was like, oh, this music is perfect. How's my mic volume this time? Is it better? Okay, awesome. So much better? Okay, awesome. Great to hear. I fixed it. So I figured out that it was turned way down when I thought it wasn't. Hello, Heather. Hello, Ona. Hello, Cass. Hello, everybody. So, yeah, second episode. We have two amazing guests that will be coming on here in just a short moment. And two, I think, pretty cool topics to talk about today. Tonight, I should say. I hope everyone is having a wonderful night. Hey, Tay. Yes, please tap, and share. Tap, and share, guys. Tonight we have a subscriber goal of 3. Let's see if we can hit that tonight. I think we can. Thank you guys for all of the follows, all of the shares, all of the tippity taps. Oh yes, thank you for joining the team. Thank you, Heather. Thank you. So let me introduce the two awesome guests we have tonight. We're going to be bringing on board Mama Ghost Lorraine. Someone I've done a podcast with in the past, had a wonderful conversation. There she is in the chat. Make sure you go give her some love there. Has great content. Thank you so much for joining the team there, Ona. She has great content, does great lives. Go check her out. Absolutely. And then the second guest we have tonight is SGG Paranormal from Canada. This is the first time that we've done a podcast with them, so we're super excited. Super excited. So let me open this up here. Let me bring them on board, and I'll let them introduce themselves as well. Tell a little bit about themselves. Just give me one moment to set this up, guys. Let's see. Hello. All right, and there we are. The second person has been invited. Wonderful.
Hello.
How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So let's do a little bit of a short introduction here. Mama Ghost Lorraine, do you want to go first? Tell us a little bit about what you do and what kind of content you like to make.
I actually like to do an array of content. I actually am a retired paranormal investigator. I've been doing it for 34 years. This January, I decided to kind of back off a little bit and take care of myself and my family and help out wherever I'm needed. But I really do like to continue on with the research and investigations just here and there now.
Wonderful.
I like to consult.
Consult? Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And SGG Paranormal, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? What kind of content you like to make?
Yeah, so we're a trio from Ontario, Canada, and we like to make just kind of videos about where we investigate. So we share the history of where we go, as well as we share what kind of activity we get and stuff. We also like to kind of make memes with the content we have and post that as well. We're fairly new to the whole paranormal side of things. So we're just getting our bearings still and growing our kid and things like that. But it's been a blast and everybody's been awesome. So I look forward to seeing where we go from here.
Wonderful. Great to hear. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
No worries.
Wonderful. So, anything you guys have planned coming up? Any,
Actually, I'm actually starting a smaller group. And we're going to be going to a few locations in southern Ohio and maybe branching out a little bit further out to Minnesota. Glensheen Manor is one of the places that we have been talking about going. Just getting together, trying to figure out how we're going to get out there right now. We're going to wait until it's springtime, spring or summer.
Awesome. And what about you guys, SG?
We actually just got back from investigating a cemetery tonight in the snow. That was
I saw
fun.
that.
Yeah. Otherwise, we don't have anything planned currently. We're trying to plan things, but we kind of keep getting ghosted by everywhere. So we're trying to just figure out what we can do because it is winter. It's harder to do the outdoor things for sure because it's so cold. Yeah. But I know definitely come the summertime, we'll be going back to like some cemeteries and some ruins and things like that for sure. But as of right now, there's no like set in stone plan for anything.
Okay. All right. Well, sometimes it can definitely be hard. That's for sure. Sorry to hear about that. I know you guys were saying there's not so much around you guys, so it's kind of difficult. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it'll come a time.
Great to investigate.
Yes, they are.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That they are.
Yeah, we plan to go back to those for sure.
Wonderful. Well, so let's go ahead and let's get started with our first topic of the night. We'll kind of take turns just sharing our point of view and then just have a short open discussion about it. So, Mama Ghost Lorraine, let me pose this question to you, okay?
Okay.
What are UFOs to you? What do you think they are?
To me, they are. Everybody says unidentified flying objects. I think that they are beings from other planets coming to visit us to see how we're doing on this planet, and if there's any way that they can help us, or even just be here with us, walk among us.
So kind of just to keep an eye on us, observe. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And do you think that these, so you think that these are beings from outside of, okay, yes. And you think they're crafts as well? Out of our galaxy?
Definitely outside of our galaxy. We can't be the only beings in this galaxy or outside of this galaxy. To me, that they are a very intelligent, and I'm just going to keep calling them beings because otherwise they could be celestial beings. They could be, I'm sorry, it's just to me that they come to us as either they are in the form of human, mm-hmm. or even form of animal. But they could be anything. They could even, I believe that they could even take a shift of, how am I saying this? They could become part of our Earth as well.
So like objects almost.
Living being. I'm sorry?
So like objects as well, say like a tin can, perhaps?
No, not so much.
Not so much that.
Something of a living creature.
Living creature. Okay, so anything living in some sort of nature, right? Even like grass is living technically, right? So even okay, that is an interesting perspective, and I kind of like that. So, what about you, SGG? What do you think UFOs are? What are they to you?
UFOs to me aren't necessarily that they're unidentified. Like, I believe, to me, when I think of like a UFO, I feel like it's like they're the whatever beings it may be, whether it's aliens, some other entity, anything like that. I think it's their form of transportation, or that it's just maybe perhaps not even necessarily going that route, but just pieces of space debris that are falling to Earth, and people are seeing those. But in forms of like the alien aspect, I think it's their form of transportation. It's like their buses, their cars, and it's just some form of vehicle or vessel to transport the beings to and from Earth to wherever they may be, whether they're keeping an eye on us, figuring out what we're doing, or just coming to visit, or whatever they're doing. I think it's their form of transportation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think I can definitely get behind that as well. I have a very similar point of view. I don't necessarily think that all UFOs are of extraterrestrial origin. I definitely think that they can absolutely be. Thank you so much, Soko. Thank you. I definitely think they can be wide variety, right? I think that our governments here on Earth absolutely kind of perpetuate this further. Things that they might be testing, they just kind of say, oh, it's a UFO, right? We don't know where it is, or they deny it, and then people really grab hold of it. And we saw this a lot during the late 60s and early 60s, 70s, and into the 80s as well, because the technology jump that we had during that time period was, astronomical. And I don't think people back then were really accustomed to it yet, with the new technology that we were developing. And I was born in the mid 90s. SGG, I believe you were born a year after me, from what you were saying the last time you spoke.
Yep.
Mama Goes to the Rain, I know.
Born in the 60s.
So let me ask you this then, right? Because you would have been a kid growing up around that time, and then into your teens in the 70s, and then so on and so forth. Do you think that a lot of what could have been identified as UFOs back then could have been mistaken for what our government was?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Most certainly. I mean, there were things when I was growing up that they had no idea. Like, and people still have an issue with that now, like the balloons, the satellites, and
The weather
whatnot.
balloons?
They didn't realize what that was, and everybody became very scared of them because they had no idea. Everything was so strange back then. And actually, they still kind of are now. You see things that you think, oh, what is that? I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
But it could be something that the government has actually putting out there. They're really good at hiding things.
You're right, they are.
They're so good at doing things that we're all confused by it. So, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so do you think we've kind of come to a point where we've caught up with our current technological abilities, that most of what we're seeing now compared to during that time frame really are truly unidentifiable, that it's not just our government testing new things?
No, I think the government's still testing new things. Okay. I really do. I believe the government is still testing new things. I mean, take the stealth jet.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't let us know that they were, of course, they weren't going to, because they were testing it out and nobody knew what was going on. They immediately thought it was a UFO or UAP. They had no idea. They're still doing that kind of testing now. They never stop testing. So they're always going to be putting something out there that's different and weird, and we're programmed to believe that these are always going to be UFOs or UAPs. We're always programmed for that now.
Yeah.
But there are many of us who are stepping out of the box and looking further into everything.
Being able to differentiate what is more than likely government testing. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think we definitely, the study of, we'll call it ufology, right? Ufology has progressed. I mean, it's been around for 80 years now, right? Something along that line. So definitely, I think we are getting better at being able to investigate these claims, and our technology to be able to investigate these claims are getting more advanced. So we're able to differentiate more times than not what is and isn't government testing versus something we truly can't identify. SGG, do you have anything to say about that? Do you think that 30, 40 years ago more people were seeing what the government was testing and thinking these were UFOs?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like back then the government was testing more things for sure, or that even necessarily that people weren't necessarily as knowledgeable about the things that were going on back then. So I feel like to kind of touch back on earlier, like that also some of it is like space debris and things like that. So I feel like it could have been mistaken for like a piece of a satellite or something kind of falling to the ground but like floating in a weird way, and because the camera qualities weren't so good back then either, I could see how it could be mistaken for a UFO or things like that. That's not to say that people didn't see them or that it was the government testing things. I think there's just kind of a lot of different like perspectives and things you have to think about when taking those into consideration.
Absolutely.
And I think back then we might not have fully had the knowledge about it yet, because back then like UFOs and aliens and things like that, UAPs, drones were all kind of taboo. So I think as
absolutely
it goes on, we're getting more knowledgeable with them and being able to figure out what exactly it is we're looking at.
Absolutely. And what's funny about that, I think it was last year, I read an article that took a poll from a very large group of people, and it seems like here in America at least, more people now believe that aliens exist than don't believe aliens exist.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly when that switch happened, but from what the article was saying, that was a very recent switch. Now it's like 60% of, or 54% of Americans believe that aliens exist or something like that. And then, of course, some didn't comment, and then like 30% didn't believe that it existed. So I definitely think that UFO, we'll just call it ufology, right? Definitely was vastly much more of a fringe topic even 20 years ago, right? 15 years ago, 10 years ago than it is today. And partially, I think it's because our society is growing and the information is out there for anyone to grab, right? And it's not hard to look for it. I can even say when I was growing up in high school, even getting information was much more difficult than it is today, right? Especially there are very knowledgeable people doing their own investigations, their own experiments in multiple different fields. It's not just ufology, chemistry, physics, and even universities like Stanford University have entire physics courses on YouTube that you can learn from for free. I think that level of spreading of information is something that they didn't necessarily have 20, 30 years ago. So people are becoming more accepting of it because they're seeing, oh, well, this is strange, right? They're not being told it. It's different when you can see it versus when you're told it. So Would you guys generally agree with that as well?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let me come at you guys with something that might be a little bit unique. So last week I watched a video on YouTube. I cannot remember the title of the video, but something from that video really stood out for me. This person was explaining their point of view on what UFOs are, and it was something I hadn't really heard much of. Well, there's 2 points of view. I'll touch on both. One is that these UFOs are actual living craft, right? They're not being manned necessarily as much as they are in themselves a living craft. What do you guys think about that? Kind of strange, right?
I heard that, and it's possible. Why can't it be possible? I mean, we are now having vehicles that are driving themselves. Why did we get our technology? Could we have gotten our technology from there? Could we? I mean, is anything's possible anymore? Why can't that be a living creature actually coming here and flying out this way? I don't know. Why not?
What about you, SGG?
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, there's so many possibilities out there that it could definitely be like an unmanned thing, or like a self-efficient, self-propelling kind of thing. Kind of like the self-driving Teslas. Like, I don't see why it couldn't be like that. Why it couldn't just do whatever itself.
Okay. You know, it really, if you think about the different kinds, the different types of craft, right? What craft could you think, or what UFOs could we think could be living versus not, right? None of them are really, I would say, especially organic looking. Most of them are described as being either, pure black and, in nighttime sky, or silver metallic looking in nature, right? So, when we think of what a living life form is, we have a very specific thought of what that looks like, right? Because of what we know in biology here on Earth. But what if what a life form is outside of what we know could be metallic in nature, right? It's very strange to think. We are very with what we know, I would say we are limited compared to what's out there. Absolutely. So the second part of this was, we use drones as a method of sending or scouting an area that we don't want to, when we don't want to put ourselves in danger, when it's hard for us to get there, too small of a space, or whatever the reason may be. So someone also brought up that maybe these are drones, right? Maybe these are from outer space, but what if they're not being physically manned by something? Because if you think about what we know of biology, what these craft are doing are, any occupants inside of it with our current scientific knowledge, they would be smushed into mashed potatoes. So what if these are actually drones that are being operated from somewhere else? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I mean, we use our drones to go places that most people would never think about going and look at things. And why can't they have their drones come and observe us and see what we're doing and just monitor what we're doing around here on this planet? And maybe, I mean, I'm going to continue to say this, I think when they're doing that, it's a possibility that they are, like I said, they're monitoring us, but they are trying to help us in a way.
Okay.
Our technology can come from beings from outer space. I want to say outer space, but I mean, I continually say because they're intellectual beings. And we have seen hieroglyphics with things showing things coming from outer space to help them. Why can't they still be doing that? And they could be using these their drones to help us. They're coming to see what we're doing and then try to help figure out what they can do to help us. I don't think they're here to hurt us, not by any means.
I would agree.
I mean, because if that was the case, I think they would have done that a long time ago.
You're absolutely right. Why wait until we're more technologically advanced? Right. Yeah, I actually really that's a good point, right? I've never heard that argument when people kind of fearmonger. Oh, they're here to whatever. It's like, wouldn't they have already done that? Like they just one day decided, hey, yeah, I think it's time. They have better weapons now. I think this might be harder. Let's go for it now. What about you, SGG? What are your thoughts on the whole drone opinion?
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, what if some of our technological advancements were from some of, were from some of their drones and things like that have like crashed or landed on Earth, and we took those and studied those and flipped them and kind of made them our own, and that's how some of our technological advances was because of something from beyond what we know or what we've seen and things like that. So I definitely feel like it could have also benefited from us, and that they're not necessarily there to hurt us, but there to teach us.
I agree. Right. I agree. Great point of views. And if you're on the tubes, if you're watching this back and you're on the tubes, let us know in the comments what's your opinion. Are they life forms? Are they drones? Let us know. But to kind of continue, we have our nice second topic, and I think this is something that has been much more talked about within the last, we'll say, 5 years or so. Do we feel our government is hiding evidence? Right? And we, two of us are from the States, and then SGG is from Canada. So what we'll have a great opportunity here is we'll get it from the perspective of someone outside of the country, and then she can give her perspective on maybe if her own government maybe has evidence that they're hiding, or maybe talk to us a bit about how Canada handles disinformation on UFOs or the reporting of UFOs. So Mama Lorraine, we'll kind of start with you. Let us know, do you think our government's hiding evidence?
Absolutely. I mean, look how long it took them for many people to continually go after the government to release files, to declassify files that they've had. And then they're just now starting to really do that. But they've known so many things for so long, and now they're just letting some of it out. They're not going to release all of what they know. They're going to continually hide things. I mean, I totally believe that they are going to continue to hide things from us. They don't want us to know everything that they know, because
absolutely,
one, it could cause a panic among people. Two, it may just make people more comfortable with what's going on, and they don't want either. They want to keep us in the dark on a lot of things.
I agree. What about you, SGG? From your perspective, do you think the United States, we'll start there, government is hiding evidence from really the world, honestly?
Oh, yeah, tenfold. Doesn't matter whether it's the United States, Canada, Australia. I think if they know some stuff, they're not going to tell us it. There's money in and them keeping it a secret, right? Because then it leads to speculations and things like that. So for them, they feel not sharing it they can probably even take that technology or whatever it may be that they're hiding from us and use it to their advantage, for sure.
I agree. We've caught the government multiple times hiding things throughout the United States history. To me, what I always bring up, and what a lot of people actually do not know, years ago this was declassified, and this is one of the biggest moments in United States history. During, I can't remember who was president, but they declassified a bunch of documents, and one of them was the attack on Pearl Harbor. Per these documents, we knew long before Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. That's why they sent out most of the fleet on a training mission. Most of the fleet, the most important pieces of our Pacific fleet, were sent out on a random training mission overnight, obviously to protect them, but they intercepted those transmissions where the attack was going to be days, I think a week prior to Pearl Harbor, being attacked. What at that time, through the history that I know, they felt that America needed it wasn't just enough for us to enter in without there being something happening to us, right? The country needed to be united. Much different now, right? The government can go to war whether the people are united or not, but back then it was a little bit different. They needed the people behind, the cause, and that was their way to do it. And this has been shown through the, through the documents. And if they're willing to do that, almost 100 years ago now, 80 years ago, almost 80 years ago, what are they willing to hide since then, right? Of course they would hide what UFOs really are. Yeah, absolutely. Of course they would hide the evidence. Of course. And I don't think that anytime soon, I think these hearings will be dragged on for years to come. What do you guys think about that?
Absolutely. Yep. Yes, indeed. I think they're really good at hiding. Like I said, they're always really good at hiding things. They're going to continue to hide things. This is not the first thing they've hidden, and it won't be the last thing they've hidden, but they'll continue to hide.
Absolutely. SGG, do you think they'll I'm sure you've heard about the United States government hearings on UFOs, and they're pushing for, the release of government files on UFOs. How long do you think it will be, if ever, that will actually get the government coming out and saying, okay, guys, yeah, we've been lying to you the whole time. UFOs really are real.
Yeah, so I feel like they're definitely hiding it, but part of me also feels like they might have already released some stuff, but the way they released it made it seem like hidden. There's no way that can happen, kind of thing, right? So I feel like they're strategic in the way they do things, so I feel like they're going to continue to hide things, but also give us little teasers here and there, but in ways that are going to make us be like, yeah, there's no way this could be a real thing or not.
That is a great point. I honestly can agree with that, right? A lot of what went on in the late 60s, early 70s, and into the 80s was a lot of what was later thought or found out to be disinformation from ex-government agents or current government agents. Releasing Bob Lazar is a perfect example. He was a government agent. He was a CIA operative for years of his career, and then all of a sudden, I worked at Area 51. They're hiding. Maybe, just like you're saying, right? Maybe what we call is disinformation. Maybe a little bit of tidbits were real. that he was saying, right? And maybe now to think about it, maybe that was the government putting out feelers to see how the U.S. would react, how the world would react if met with this this aliens are real, guys, right? A lot of people seem to think there would be panic. I personally don't think there would be panic. I don't know. Do you guys think there would be panic? To the extent they always claim?
I think if they told, like Ona said, if they released all the information that they have, then our history would change. And that's actually true.
That. Yeah.
Also, I think, yes, they would. It would probably put more people in a panic because too many people are conditioned to believe certain things.
That is very true. Yeah.
And, it's hard to change somebody's mind on that. And they may just become even more panicked on it. That's my thought.
What about you, SGG?
Yeah. I feel like it would be 50-50. I feel like it could go either way. I feel like everybody would be like, yeah, tell us something we don't know. But then I also feel like some people would be like,
it's the end of the world.
This is insane. Yeah, like it's like the apocalypse is coming. Like, give me all the toilet paper. Like, we're dying tomorrow kind of thing. So I could see it going both ways. Me, personally, I would just be like, I already knew this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, everybody's different, right?
Yes, absolutely. Soko, thank you so much. You have yourself a wonderful night, Soko. Thank you so much for stopping by. I do agree. I don't think there'd be necessarily so much panic in terms of civil unrest, but I think where the panic would lie is, I think a lot of the fabric on which a lot of different we'll just say civilizations, cultures are built on, let's be honest, is a lot of it's religion. And what happens at that point, right? When they are met with, we're not the only creatures in the universe, right? I personally, I'm not extremely religious person, and everyone I believe is allowed to have their thoughts and perspective on religion. If you look at it purely from a religion standpoint, and this is not necessarily my beliefs, we were created by God. Well, who's to say that God didn't create other civilizations either? Right? If you want to look at it from that perspective. So if you think about it from that point of view, what would be the big deal if aliens were real from a religious standpoint? I don't think for me, if I was a religious person, that's what I would think, right? Well, surely I'm not the only thing God created, right? What do you guys think?
You said that, and I remember having a conversation with my late husband, and we were discussing God. I'm not a religious person, and he isn't either, but we had a discussion on what is God. Is God, and he thought God was an alien from another galaxy, another area, and created the planets here in this galaxy, and created the beings on this earth, not only here but everywhere else. Who's to say that? And I call it my higher power, but who's to say that this higher power is not an alien or a celestial being from somewhere else?
Right, and I definitely want to preface this by, we're not stepping on anyone's beliefs here, right? This is, we're very tolerable of all belief systems here, so, right. What do you think about that, SGG? What do you think about that concept?
I mean, me personally, I don't necessarily believe in like a god or anything like that. Like, I'm not very spiritual or anything like that. I do believe there is a higher power, though, whether that be a god or some other intelligent life form out there. I do believe there's definitely something for sure that's helping us in this life, and there's a reason we've explored more of space than we've explored the ocean.
Oh, that's a good thought. Yeah. As humans, we're always. I feel that even look back a few hundred years ago. We're always expanding. We're always looking beyond rather than within, right? So think of Christopher Columbus and all the explorers that wanted to seek new lands. Now, of course, right? Some of their reasons behind it may have been monetary, but it still goes with the whole concept of expansionism. And as humans, we are extreme expansionists, I think, to the extreme. So naturally, space is where we go next instead of our oceans. And that brings up another great question, though, is do you think there is somehow underhandedly, someone mentioned in chat, about UFOs like to come out of the oceans. Do you think that there is underhandedly somehow, we'll say just from the government, somehow a stop on proper ocean exploration because they know that UFOs are coming from the ocean? And if private companies or companies with a scientific basis invest money into the exploration of our oceans to better map it, that they'd find that UFOs are truly there. What do you guys think about that?
That's a really good question, really good thought. And I've been hearing lots of things about the UAPs coming from the ocean, and you don't really hear a lot about exploration in the oceans anymore.
Not much, yeah.
And that's really good. I mean, that's a really good question. I didn't delve into that. I didn't think about that so much. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of stumped on that one a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because I would like to see more in-depth exploration of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that makes me want to get into that a little bit more. Okay,
absolutely.
A lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to know more about that one and research that one a little bit more.
Maybe after this, maybe for another podcast topic, I can do some research into the exploration of oceans and if there's some hidden evidence to be found. What do you think?
And things like that, but there isn't.
All right, guys. It looks like
Oh, you're fine.
Maybe the government's on to us, guys. Maybe we're asking the wrong questions.
Probably.
Okay. So I heard exactly what you said. So, I agree with you, SG. Absolutely. I heard everything you said. It didn't go away from me, so I don't know what it was talking about. But something I wanted to talk about, Heather posted in chat, the ocean cannot literally be explored at its depths because we humans do not have the ability to. And, she poses a great question. Scientifically speaking, it's very difficult for us physically to go to the depths of the ocean. But do we think that it's possible that our other technology is advanced enough where we don't physically need to go down there anymore? We have, aquatic drones. We have crazy advances in geoimaging from satellites or, a multitude of different apparatuses to the point where they can see structures miles from underground. So what's to say, they couldn't see with that same equipment, map the oceans with relative great accuracy? What do you guys think?
Yeah. So you were talking. You kind of like hit where I was thinking was the technology that we have, and then I can't say a no, but I'm sure that the government still has their testing things to actually go into the ocean a lot deeper. They find millipedes down there. Yes, it does. Paranormal Joy, you're absolutely right. But why can't we have some other devices out there that go further down? I'm sure that they do, and I'm sure that they're testing those out, and I'm sure they're going to find, if they don't already know, that they're down there. Mm.
As soon as you said that word, as soon as you said the
things like that to talk with them, you're respectful towards them and stuff. So I feel like it's the same way with whatever's in the oceans. They just kind of know to an extent, and they just said, hey, listen, like, to keep the peace and not like aggravate anything. We know what it is for the most part. Let's just leave it at that kind of thing.
I agree. Yeah, so sorry guys, for whatever reason it is buffering every now and again. Sorry about that. I did still hear everything you said, so I don't know, that is kind of strange that it's buffering, but I can still hear everything you're saying.
Right.
So I just want to say thank you guys so much. We have about 9 minutes left on the podcast. I appreciate you guys for stopping by, being guests on the show. It was great hearing your input, SGG Paranormal, and likewise, Lorraine. Any final things you want to say on any of the topics? Go ahead. You can start, Mama Lorraine.
I know that we need a code word for the G thing. That's for sure. I think that we're going to find out more ourselves a little bit more.
I do agree. I think things will absolutely show themselves a little bit more. And what about you, SGG? What do you any final remarks?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that things are slowly gonna keep coming. I mean, in the words of Tom from Blink-182, aliens exist. He's known about them for a long time, and he's kind of posted things to prove that, but also some things are a little bit wonky. But I
Hold on. All right, we're back. Sorry, I heard everything you said, but it kept. Oh my gosh, this is kind of crazy, and it's chat now that the comments are filtered, so a little strange there. Maybe we hit the nail a little bit too much on the head tonight.
Too hard.
Yeah, too hard. Again, guys, thank you so much for coming on as guests. I think this was a wonderful my goodness. Anyway,
I would love to stay for the rest of it.
Absolutely. So
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So go ahead. What I'll end up having to do is, yeah, that's perfectly okay. You guys want to go ahead and disconnect? Thank you guys so much for hopping in with me tonight. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No.
Alrighty, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in to the second episode of the Unidentified Flying Podcast. If you're watching this on the tubes, listening to this on Spotify or Amazon Music, go check us out on our other platforms. Let us know if you're on the tubes. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about our topics tonight. Give us a follow, and until next time, keep it alien. Okay, so thank you guys so much. I'm going to restart it and see if that helps the situation, and then I'll open it up to anyone that wants to come on board. So I think it will be fine because the data, TikTok itself is recording it, so I think it will save the live as if nothing happened. But yeah, I'm going to restart the stream though, and we'll see if that fixes it. It's just kind of weird. So I'll be back in just a few minutes, guys.